Are you curious what a 1942 wartime dinner tasted like? Well, join me and my family as we explore recipes from the cookbook I have here from 1942. So let's jump into the recipes and see how they taste. What do you think?
This is delicious.
Thank you.
Pretty good for wartime.
So we're gonna get started on our peach delight, and this recipe is from Hollywood, from Dorothy Jackson. I just love that you can find out who did this recipe. So we're gonna start with this 2 egg yolks into here. We're gonna kind of blend all these ingredients together. And we got a 1/4 cup of sugar. We've got the rind of 1 lemon. Lovely, it smells so good. Let me know in the comments down below if you love lemon. And then we've got, it says shortening, but I'm using butter. We have 3 tablespoons. I softened it up a little bit, and we're gonna blend this together as best we can with this whisk here. And I'm sure we'll blend it together more once we get it into the dry ingredients along with the milk. So this recipe is really interesting because there's no spices in it, but there's this lovely lemon. So I think it's gonna be a really nice kind of fruit cobbler. I'm really excited to try this. Let me know in the comments down below if you like peach desserts or any kind of fruit desserts. I love fruit desserts. Strawberry desserts are some of my favorite ones, especially strawberry shortcake, but I really like to make it with cream scones. Yum! So this is what this looks like here. And we're gonna move on to mixing the dry ingredients, and then we're gonna mix that in to that with the milk. So we have a cup of all-purpose flour here. We have 3 teaspoons of baking powder. Got a little bit stuck. And then we have some salt. All the amounts will be down below in the description. Let me know if you like trying recipes from videos. I think it's a lot of fun. So we got that mixed up. Now let's combine these two. Oops, actually, I wasn't paying attention. I need to add it alternately with the milk, so sometimes this happens. It's all right. We're gonna remedy that by just scooping a little bit out. That's totally fine. Let me know if you've had a time where you've realized that you haven't followed the directions, as they say, and maybe need to backtrack a little bit. Luckily, I caught that. It's not the end of the world, I don't think, if we forget that, but let's try to follow it. All right, so mix in a bit of this flour here, and then mix in, we have about a 1/2 cup of milk here, and it's forming a nice batter that are going on top of our peaches. And I'm gonna show that in a moment. That'll be the next step to get the peaches ready. All right, that's looking good. Let's add a little bit more milk. So this is almost like adding a tiny bit of cake batter to the top of the fruit, which is basically a cobbler. There's also kind of more biscuity cobblers. Let me know which one you like better down in the comments below. Okay, let's get that liquid in here. I hurt my thumb really, really bad doing some weeding in the garden on Monday, and it still really hurts. So sometimes I'm compensating for the pain of my thumb because it's not working as well as it usually does. Luckily it's my left hand, so it's not the one I use as much, but it's a little bit tough. Let me know if you like to do gardening or weeding. I really need to remember to use garden gloves because those kind of seeds and stickers get me all the time. All right, this is coming together as a nice batter. Get the rest of that milk in there. I just mixed this by hand because I thought, well, I want to be gentle with it. So yeah, this is ready to go. All right, so we're gonna set this aside, and I'm using canned peaches here because it's not peach season yet. It's not the summer. So I just used 2 cans of 15 ounces each of peaches and put them in a, I think this is 9 or 10 inch pie plate. You can also use like an 8x8 square pan. I drained them of the syrup, and it says to put 2/3 cup sugar. I'm just gonna put 1/3 just because they already have some syrup, so I don't want it to be overly sweet. With, you know, fresh peaches, we might want more sugar depending on how sweet they are, but I don't want to over sugar. Oops, I'm gonna break that up a little bit. The peaches. I am gonna have to try this again in the summer when it's peach season. I'm excited about that. Let me know if you love peaches or if you have peaches in your area. Okay, so, oops, we were supposed to put a little bit of lemon juice in here. So, let me grab that. I'll be right back. Let's just sprinkle a tablespoon of lemon juice over the peaches as well. I'm gonna just kind of stir this a tiny bit. All right, so now we're gonna get our batter on top here and get this in a 325-degree oven for about 15 minutes. And then we're gonna use the egg whites from the 2 separated eggs and create a lovely meringue to put on top. Oh, actually, the main cobbler here, this part goes in the oven for 30 minutes at 350 degrees. Whoops, I messed that up, sorry. I'm just changing my oven temperature. So this goes in 30 minutes, 350 degrees, and then we're gonna put the meringue on it and turn it down to 325. So let's get this in the oven. I wanna make sure and get this covered as best I can. Sometimes with these syrupy peaches, it's a little harder to spread this, but we'll just do the best we can. That looks pretty good. I'm not gonna try to spread it too much more, but we will try to get all the batter on there. Alrighty, let's get this in the oven, and then I will come back with the meringue part. We're back to make the meringue. I have the 2 egg whites that we separated from the 2 egg yolks that we used in the batter. And then I have 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar. And we're just gonna blend this together. Now I'm gonna do this, the majority of this off camera, and I'll show you what the meringue looks like in just a moment. So our meringue is ready to go. You can see it's beaten to stiff peaks there. And so we're gonna set this aside and wait for the Peach Delight to bake in the oven. We're supposed to take it out of the oven, let it cool a little bit, and then we will top it with a meringue and bake it another 15 minutes at 325. So stay tuned for how the Peach Delight looks very soon. Wow! Just look at how fabulous this is. The Peach Delight with the meringue just came out of the oven and it is spectacular, as you can see. I can see why it's called Peach Delight. I still get that wonderful lemon smell and also the lovely smell of the peaches, but it is fabulous. So let's let that cool down and we're gonna get our parsnips and turnips ready. Let's move on to the veggie part of this dinner. So now we're moving on to the veggie of this dinner. And we have a couple of turnips here and then a bunch of parsnips. I already peeled this one. I'm gonna peel all of these, but the recipe says to cut it into small pieces. So we're just gonna use this chef's knife to kind of cut these up. And I'm just gonna demo with this one turnip. And what we're making here is mashed turnips, but I don't have a lot of turnips, so I'm adding parsnips. I have never cooked turnips before, it's so weird. Most of the veggie recipes in this book are very simple. It's just kind of boil or mash or that sort of thing. So I'm just doing the mashed turnips. So we're supposed to cook these. Once I get these all peeled and diced, we're supposed to cook them in boiling water, uncovered until they are soft. And then we're gonna mash them up kind of like we would mash potatoes, with butter, salt, and pepper. And I might add some herbs or something too. So stay tuned. I will bring you up to speed when they're already cooked and soft, and then we'll do the mashing together over here. See you in a moment. So we're gonna finish up our veggie side dish. We have our cooked parsnips and turnips here. I needed to boil them in salted water for a little over half an hour, probably about 35 minutes or so. So you can see they're nice and steamy and nice and squishy. So basically the recipe just says butter, salt, and pepper. So I'm gonna start with that. I'm adding a couple tablespoons of butter right in with the mashing here. I'm just using a regular potato masher. But I do have some tasting spoons here because I wanna see if perhaps some paprika, maybe some garlic powder and some white pepper might taste good in here. Like I say, I've never really cooked turnips before, and of course they're paired with these parsnips. So we will see how these turn out. I might need to use something else to get them a little smoother, but they're looking good. So first, I'm just gonna add a little bit of black pepper here. And they were cooked in salted water, so I'm gonna taste them on their own right now and see how they taste before adding, you know, more salt or something else. So let's see how they taste. Cheers to you. I like how they're savory, but they have a little bit of sweetness, kind of like carrots, but not quite as sweet. So I think that's nice. but I do think they need a tiny bit more salt. I'm just gonna add, oh shoot, spilled the salt, oh well. I will clean that up in a moment. I'm just gonna add about a 1/4 teaspoon of this. But I do think it could use something else, so we're gonna try a tiny bit of garlic powder, and I encourage you to experiment with what sounds good to you. These just spoke to me for some reason out of the spice cabinet. Oh shoot, I can't get this paprika open. Do the spices ever talk to you? Let me know in the comments below if they're like, hey, I would taste good in this dish. Pick me, they're saying. Okay, let's get that paprika in there. My son absolutely loves paprika and garlic on potatoes, so I'd imagine he would like this. And you know what? I'm gonna add a tiny bit of this white pepper as well. I'm gonna go for my instincts here. And they certainly look elevated and pretty, and it smells really good. So let me use a clean tasting spoon. Cheers again. That is quite nice. Now I think I'm gonna add a tiny bit more salt and pepper. Just the tiniest amount. But I think we are almost there. And yeah, I think that is looking pretty good. So let's move on to our fish chowder. It's gonna be amazing. So now we're getting ready to make the fish chowder from the fish section of this Wartime cookbook. So it calls for salt pork, but I did not have any of that. So I just chopped up into kind of strips some bacon. So I'm gonna be frying up this bacon in here. Then we're going to be adding a large potato that's been peeled and chopped up. And then also a large onion that's been peeled and chopped up. So I'm gonna come back in a moment when these are sauteed a little bit more, and we'll move on with our delicious fish chowder. And I'm gonna be using, before we go to the next section, I'm gonna be using about 1.5 pounds of cod. It called originally for 2 pounds of halibut, but that is a very, very spendy fish to be putting in a chowder. So I opted for the cod, and I cut the amount down a little bit because there's just 3 of us, and this is still gonna be quite a bit of chowder. So I will see you in a couple minutes. Now I have added the onion to the bacon in the pan, and we're supposed to saute this until it is brown, and then after that point we're going to be moving on to cooking the potatoes in there, and we'll be adding a little bit of water to make sure that they soften up. So we'll be back in a moment. You can see the onions are browned. So we're gonna be adding in our chopped large potato, and I'm using my tea kettle here to add a little bit of water so that they can cook thoroughly. It says cook until well done, but I just think that means cook them through. So that's what we'll be doing for a few minutes here, and then we're gonna be moving on to adding our fish and the rest of our ingredients to get this chowder simmering. We'll be back in a moment. Okay, we are back, and our potatoes are nice and soft. We got those the bacon and onions in there too. So I'm gonna actually take that off the stove. We're gonna move over to this kettle here. Now originally the recipe says to use a double boiler, but my double boiler is very small, so I'm not going to be putting the fish in a double boiler and then adding everything else, because it would be overflowing. So what we're gonna do instead is mix this up like it says. So add all these goodies to the fish. And I'm gonna make sure, right now the stove is off. There's a little residual heat, but I'm just gonna make sure this is at a very low simmer. I think with a double boiler, they just don't want you to, they want you to gently cook the fish is my guess. But we're just gonna mix this up. And then we're gonna be putting some milk. It just says enough milk to cover. And yeah, this definitely would not fit in my double boiler. I'm just gonna try to get the rest of this in here. Oops, I have the timer on for the potatoes. Okay, so let's get that in here. Let me know if you love fish chowder or any seafood dishes. I know my son loves anything with fish in it. So, oops. Oh, my poor tea kettle. Oops. Okay, so we've got all of this mixed up. Now, we are going to add enough milk. I kind of have 2 containers of milk. I'm finishing this one up. And we want to add enough milk up to the top to kind of cover everything, so it might differ for everyone. So that looks good. I might add a smidge more. So that's probably at least 2 cups of milk. And it asked us to roll some crackers. So I just took some saltines and put them in a Ziploc bag and then used my rolling pin to roll them fine. So that's gonna be the thickener for our chowder. That's looking good. I don't have the heat on yet just because I want to get this mixed up before we put it on warm and simmer here. I am gonna add, so it doesn't say to add a lot of seasonings except for maybe chopped parsley or chopped pimento. But I'm gonna add a little bit of dried dill just because I like that flavor in a seafood chowder. I'm just adding kind of pinches of this. Okay. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of pepper. Later on, I'm gonna check for seasonings and add salt, but I'm not gonna add extra salt right now, just because the bacon has salt in it. Don't wanna over salt this. But I think adding in these seasonings now will be very tasty. That's looking really beautiful, isn't it? Okay, so we are going to simmer this for about a half an hour. I'm gonna put it at the lowest setting so that we don't overcook this. So actually what I'm gonna do, just to make sure, is I'm gonna set a timer for 15 minutes and then we will come back, see how beautiful this looks, and see how it's doing and do a little taste check on it. So I'll see you in a moment. So we are back with the chowder and I let it cook the full 30 minutes, I decided, and it's looking beautiful. So I want to take a taste with this clean spoon and see if it needs any more seasoning. Look how yummy that looks. Let's see. Cheers to you. It's very tasty, but I think it does need a little bit more salt. So I want to just add about a teaspoon of kosher salt here. And I might actually add, yeah, definitely more pepper and perhaps a little more dill. This needs a little bit more flavor to it. What kind of flavors do you like in your chowders or stews? Especially seafood ones. I would love to know what you prefer. This is kind of a classic flavor that I like. Kind of the clam chowder type of seasoning. And that is looking beautiful. I will leave the rest of the tasting to the family, so stay tuned for that. Next, we're gonna take a look at the book a little bit closer in detail, and we'll check out the beautiful tablescape I have ready for this meal. So let's take a look at this 1942 Wartime cookbook meal. So we have our delicious fish chowder here, and we have the mashed turnips and parsnips. And then last but not least, we have the peach delight. So kind of a beige meal, but I added my orchid plant and a lot of color to the table. And I'm sure it's going to be delicious. Stay tuned for the family tasting. Now that we have our dinner done, let's take a look at this beautiful cookbook, American Women's Voluntary Services Cookbook. And it was a book for wartime living. And I like this section, American Women's Voluntary Services Recipes from the Units. So this must have been different groups, both in the UK and in the US, because there's this recipe from London here. So I love seeing all these different ones from different people. There's one from a chairman. And I chose this one, the Peach Delight from Hollywood, which is a lot of fun. And here we have our fish chowder recipe. And then we have our mashed turnips. And one of the sections I really enjoy back here, this section for household hints. I love what it says about economy, that you need to use really good materials or good products in the kitchen, but do not waste them. So that is a really good lesson to remember. And also, love that there's a whole section on waffles. This I thought was really interesting, the War Bride's cooking. So it gives a lunch idea and a dinner idea for someone that's new to cooking and entertaining. So I thought that was an interesting historical part there. And then measurements and things like that. Times to cook vegetables. So really, really interesting stuff. And a really fun book to peruse. So let me know if you'd like me to make more recipes out of this book. I think there's some great and fascinating ones. Some different macaroni and rice dishes here. So anyways, let's move on to the family tasting. So we are all here to try this 1942 wartime dinner.
What are we having?
So this is fish chowder.
Looks amazing, smells really good.
And then we have turnip and parsnip mash.
Ooh, sounds good.
And then a peach delight dessert for later.
Okay, well, want me to serve up some chowder
That'd be
and,
great,
and
yeah.
mash to people?
Yeah.
Okay, here you go.
There's a little plate for the mash. Doing the mash.
Here, I'll serve up a tasting portion. Of course,
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
always have more.
Oh, yes.
Just a-
Thank you.
What's in this?
So there's cod, there's bacon, onion, potato, and actually the secret ingredient is saltine crackers.
Oh, well,
That are
pretty cool.
sort
Crackers-
of the thickener.
crackers go great in chowder, so
Yes.
might as well put them
I
in.
did
right?
add dill because I thought it needed some herbs. And
You want
stuff.
some of the puree too?
Yeah.
Or the mash? I'm excited to try this because I've had like parsnip purees in restaurants
Yes.
and really liked it. Tried making it at home, but never really
Yeah.
felt like I never really cracked it. Oh, okay, you got it.
Yeah, no problem. It's tricky because I did add some seasoning, so we'll see how it is. Let's see what the soup is like. What do you
This
think?
is delicious.
Thank you.
Pretty good for wartime.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like they were eating this on the front lines, but still.
Yeah, true. And
wonder
it
if,
originally called for halibut, which would have been super expensive. Well, now, but maybe it was cheaper back then. I don't know.
I wonder if maybe during rationing, I guess people probably ate a lot more fish because red meat was like. I assume that was, going to the military first.
That's a good point.
At least I'm guessing. I don't actually know for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good. I like the parsnip.
Yeah.
Parsnip turnip.
Yeah, there's a little bit of turnip and mostly parsnip.
Not bad.
That's pretty good. Yeah, it has like kind of a savory sweetness to it.
It's funny, the two together kind of taste like carrots.
Yeah, it kind of does taste like carrots.
But-
yeah.
I don't like carrots,
Right.
but it doesn't taste enough of carrots that it bothers me. So
That's wonderful. A
it's
win-win.
carrot adjacent, which is sort of perfect for me.
What do you think of the seasoning on the chowder?
It's great.
Thank you.
Though I do have pretty low standards for seasoning, so maybe you shouldn't trust me on this.
I think it might need a little bit more salt, but it tastes
Yeah.
pretty good.
I mean, I might take more salt in it, but it's great as is.
Yeah, because of the bacon, I wasn't sure how much to add.
You can
so-
actually taste the fish, which is nice.
It is nice, yeah.
Are we going to have this now or after?
I think after, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think. Yeah, the cod works really well in here, so perfect. Well, we'll see you in a moment for dessert. We are back to try the Peach Delight dessert.
What is this?
It's basically a peach cobbler with like a cake topping and then also meringue topping.
Oh, so this is cake, not biscuit?
Yes.
Oh, that sounds
It's like a cake batter, yeah, that goes on top. So
We'll see how this lands. I'm not normally a big canned pizzas fan.
yeah, we'll see.
That's pretty good.
What I really like is kind of the lemony cake layer.
Is that where I'm getting lemon? Is from the cake?
Yeah, there's lemon.
Actually, I think that lemon flavor adds a lot to this.
It really does, and you also add lemon juice in the peaches. So.
Yeah, Adam approved. Oh, and also I
Yeah.
forgot to say, Adam approved for the dinner as well.
Oh, thank you. Glad you guys liked it.
So the peaches are just, there's no citrus in the peaches. All that lemon taste is coming from the cake, huh?
Well, a little bit of lemon juice on the peaches and then lemon rind in the cake or zest. But yeah, this is really nice. It's kind of different. I think it'd be really good with fresh peaches, obviously, but
Yeah,
know.
but I really think that adding the citrus to it
yeah.
adds a lot to the canned peach flavor.
I think it saves it. Plus, I tried to rinse off a lot of the syrup so it wouldn't be too
Yeah,
sweet
yeah.
on there.
It's yummy.
Thanks. I can imagine actually be good with kind of gilding the lily, add some ice cream to this.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
But a wonderful like picnic dish.
Totally. Yeah, that'd be great.
Big fan.
So definitely try this, guys. Thank you.